Africa Twin 2021, full exhaust, Aero titanium.
Okay. Yeah, it's see what it is. Yeah. That's why I bought the
No DB killer here. It's straight titanium. Really haven't had any issues whatsoever. I crushed down the exhaust washers in the front again. As we can see up here, it's looking pretty solid. Looking nice. Fit cleanly back there. The exhaust looks nice. Hangers and everything. Back up to the exhaust. No DB killer. Let's get a couple cracks at it and see how it sounds. Chris, is it cool if I hit it? That last bit was held at 4,000 RPMs just to see how it feels when it's just kind of revving along. Honestly, it blows through most of the sound when you're just kind of revving along, sitting in whatever third, fourth gear. It's really not really loud. On decel and acceleration, when it really starts pumping, that's when it really has some fun. But that's it. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna bust a U-turn real quick. We'll see what happens. Ah, that was terrible. I haven't ridden in a week. I haven't done that. Leave me alone. I'm not practicing. Oh, really? So, this is more of just a little bit of a talk that I wanted to say about for people who are looking to become MSF rider coaches. I have become one recently, and it's been a fun journey. It's been challenging, mentally, physically, um, and a little bit emotionally sometimes. If you have the right instructors and the right people who can push you and challenge you as far as what you're doing, why you're doing it, and to find the answers yourself as opposed to just being given an answer, it's really beneficial. So, as far as the actual becoming an instructor, to begin with, you have to become sponsored by a place which usually has a range or the insurance and everything set up so that way you can do the preliminary shadowing, or they call it range aid. Now, the range aid, basically what you do once you receive your sponsorship from whoever decides to sponsor you, you do 8 classes as a range aid. Each class is 2 to 3 days, depending on what your situation is as far as at your range. At least our range is what my particular uh, manager wanted. He wanted 8 classes, 4 of them which with my own coach materials, which he was going to provide for me. And then after that, we're going to do the RCP, or the Rider Coach Prep course, which is a 7-day straight course. It was from Monday to Sunday, all the way through every day from about either 7:30, 7 a.m. all the way up to sometimes 8, 9 o'clock at night. And then you have to travel home, so, or wherever you're staying from. And these courses aren't given all the time, and these courses aren't also something that you should take lightly, because it is 7 days and it's quite strenuous, and it can be a little bit strenuous whether you think the material is easy or not. 7 days standing and being around motorcycles in the sun in Florida can be a little rough. After that, the focus of this afterwards was, or at least during the RCP itself, the main thing they wanted to bring into you was how to present the material, or at least, yeah, present the material to your students and how to effectively let them receive the information. So you hit them with, at least the way I've kind of figured it out, is 2 types of content, or 2 types of questions which you can ask them in order to draw them to start to speak as well as to interact with each other. So you start off with, let's say, for example, a counter-tenor question like, what's the clutch and what does it do? Just for whatever at this point. And they go, oh, it's this and this and this. And yeah, what's the importance? Why would you want to know about that? And somebody else or somebody would say, well, because you can pull the power from, you can remove the power from the wheel. Oh, that sounds great. Oh man, anybody know anything about that? Oh yeah, I've been riding forever. When you do that, it helps you stop that. Okay, well, whatever it is. And then they all start talking together, which is great. And you hit them left and forth, and they get the experience in there, and they become building a rapport with each other and with me and with whoever else, the rider coaches or students, or whoever may be with them at the time, in order to kind of solidify the information, give them more points of reference in order to remember things. And then from there, there's a lot of transfers to the range itself where you can do this with them as well, depending on how you have your range set up, as well as how you're going to do your classroom level 2 material. Or classroom level 1 as well, depending on what kind of range and how you have your setup. We have an E3, 5, 10 setup, if I remember correctly, which basically means we have the E3, which gives them the section 1, or sorry, level 1 classroom material, and then we do level 2 classroom material with them. Um, and then after that, we can do it in conjunction with level 1 and level 2 range. And then as far as the range guide, there's a lot of stuff about, course and guide and regulation and this and that, but there's a really big section which I've been fortunate enough to have been shown before I even got to the RCP, and which helped me to solidify more of the stuff that I was, or at least to make it more accessible in my mind if I read it multiple times, was this chapter or the section 5, particularly section 5 in general, but just on SAM itself, which is safety, adult learning principles, and motor skills and those things, and combine as far as how you teach and when to teach and how long to teach and what points to give and how to approach this whole thing as far as the way the person accepts information and how they should give out information and when to know not to give information, which is probably most important. At least for a lot of us, we just really want to help, and that's why we're out there investing our time and our energy so we can go out there and help people how to learn how to ride and be safer on the road. Because most likely these people are going to get into it either way, one way or another. And if they can come and they can do it on a safe, relatively small course, and they can do it at low speeds, then that's going to be beneficial for everybody on the road. Another thing you want to do is make the students make sure they kind of invest in themselves and they invest in their friends. They kind of have a camaraderie between each other because that creates a safety net that not only the rider, the person invests in themselves, but also the rider coach tries to instill in them. But if they have a feeling of yes, we can do this together, then it's going to be more beneficial for the person, for the student, for the whole, and they have a more pleasurable experience at the institution, more likely to have a more pleasurable experience on the road, most likely to remember the information we give them, especially when we're trying to tell them to do things that people don't like to do, like practice slow speed maneuvers when they can, if they can, and how they can. Especially on their own, because this is just the beginning and it's something that they need to progress with if they would like to progress in motorcycling, because it's not something you do all the time. I mean, not everybody uses a U-turn every time they ride a motorcycle, but when you do it, you probably need to be able to do it efficiently. Um, as far as after that, man, it was a great time. I really enjoyed the RCP course. I learned a lot for myself. I learned a lot as an instructor. I learned a lot as a co-worker, as a person who's working in a unit in order to accomplish a goal. And obviously, people who are working towards the same goal have a lot of the same drive, and it's welcome and refreshing to work with such people, and I really appreciate it. As far as the first classes have been, they were a little rocky. I'm going to be honest. I mean, they weren't as successful as I would have obviously hoped for it to have been, but they good? Yeah, they were decent. Did I get some points across? Hell yeah. Did I enjoy myself? Very much so. Did it take a bit to relax? Yes. A couple things I got to learn. Just slow down, get steady. I'm learning to keep the pace and to do it all at once now, because now I have to put the whole dance together. And I've learned the sections. I know how to move my feet. Now I got to put the whole dance so that way I can move together in unison without tiring myself out over 2 days. Another thing I got to do, and I need to do, and I'm trying to do, and I believe I do decently, is to read the cards, to focus on reading the cards and to focus on particularly what is in the book between the Rider Coach Guide and the range cards. Um, Man, that's a huge hit there. Answer what I can for students that I can. That's another point. If I don't understand it, I'll look it up for them. If I'll look it up in the book, I'll look it up in the thing. I'll research for my information. I'll ask another coach. But I won't necessarily leave them hanging. I'll give them something sufficient in order for them to at least feel, yes, I'm trying to come up with an answer, or I know the answer for them. Controlling the roll or the speed of the class, it's nice to be timely and kind of know exactly approximately where you want to be as far as timing, and to let the motorcycle kind of teach the rider how to go along. So expose them to the motorcycle as much as possible without filling their mind with too much, so they can really get experience doing these things and then making large, or not large corrections, but one correction at a time in order to counteract or to counteract bad behavior, or to correct the behavior in order to, or for them to pass on to the next part of the exercise, to the next portion of whatever it needs to be, and to ultimately to dominate it, to move to the next to graduating and finishing, so that way they can get on their motorcycle and ride, or choosing not to at that point, however they feel. Um, and what can I do as a rider coach? Man, that can be a tough one sometimes. It's going to have to be a class by class basis. It's going to have to be things, these are questions that I don't necessarily have yet in my mind in order to answer. A lot of the things that I do come up with, I try to answer myself and continue and come to some sort of answer, or some sort of conclusion, which will be able to suffice at the moment for what I'm looking for. And just in the same way I teach them, I have to make one correction at a time, see how it works, at least maybe per exercise. If there's anything, maybe two, and then let it see how it flows. I got to work at it. I got to practice. I'm having a lot of fun though. It's been a lot of fun interacting with people. That's why I do this. It's honestly just to enjoy, to participate with people, to teach because I enjoy teaching, and to have them uh, ultimately have the certification and the confidence to go and get a motorcycle or continue riding a motorcycle legally in the street. And that way we have more people who are conscious, aware, safe, and progressing, which is the most important thing. That's just a little bit of what I wanted to add about becoming an MSF instructor. I'll add time to time as far as, or a rider coach. I'll add time to time as far as what I do and what I have done and what I'm continue to do. For me, I've already done the BRC2, which is the Basic Rider Course 2 course. I've already completed that portion. Hopefully, I can do the Advanced Rider course. I would love to do Harley as well. I'm in talks with one of the Harley dealerships around here. Hopefully, we can get together and I can get sponsored by them to do their course as well. They have something called the Five Pillars, which I'm kind of really interested in learning about. And, it's a different aspect of how they do things versus just the straight MSF course. But you have to be an MSF instructor to become a Harley Davidson rider coach, or for them. So let's see. It's going to be a good time. Uh, it's only good things coming out forward, and I really appreciate everybody who's really put me through and given me the support and effort to keep marching. Thank you, everybody. Africa Twin 2021,
Yeah.
full exhaust, Aero titanium.
Okay. Yeah, it's be what it is. Yeah, that's why I bought the
No DB killer here. It's straight titanium. Really haven't had any issue whatsoever. I crushed down the exhaust washers in the front again. As we can see up here, it's looking pretty solid. It's looking nice. It fit cleanly back there. The exhaust looks nice. Hangers and everything. Back up to the exhaust. No DB killer. Let's get a couple cracks at it and see how it sounds. Chris, is that cool if I hit it? That last bit was held at 4,000 RPMs just to see how it feels when it's just kind of revving along. Honestly, it blows through
most of the sound when you're just kind of revving along, sitting whatever third, fourth gear. It's really not really loud. On decel and acceleration, when it really starts pumping, that's when it really has some fun. But that's it.